Welcome back to Three Dirty Dogs, the property settlement workbook for divorce attorneys. This is the third video that examines the workbook and how it works. If you remember from the last video, this was a contest between Mary, the salsa dancer, and Bob, and she's ready to leave him and move on to other things. This workbook that you're looking at right here, right now, is much like the one we left on the last time with some alterations that we made. As you can see, there's the Portland home and the lot and the bicycles and everything else. And then you can see all the other information about those properties and assets and how they're to be divided. You saw in the last one, as well, the last video, that up above was the dashboard, your command center. And on the left-hand side, again, it has to do with the values of the properties. And then on the right-hand side is how those properties are to be dispersed. That was all in the last video. In the last video, we covered editing the asset lines. And one of the things that we looked at was the basic calculator. And it helped us calculate things very quickly as to how the properties were to be distributed. In fact, as we noticed just as it was concluding, that as we looked down the right-hand side, we saw these little gray things in the right-hand margin. Now, you may not remember from that video what they were, but it basically said that at this point, for those two items, if you wanted to end this divorce financially, that is to get Mary's community property and Bob's to exactly match, you can go to that single asset, that single property, bring up the basic calculator, click a single button, and resolve this divorce financially once and for all. But it's too early for that. For one thing, one of the gray boxes right now happens to be on a real estate property that Mary wants to keep. She doesn't want to distribute it or give it any part of it to him to make this divorce more equal. The other one happens to be something that Bob has, and it is part of his retirement fund. And we're a little hesitant right now about doing that in lieu of we've got some information about Mary and her retirement fund. If you look with us, we're going to look at something called number 8, the TD Ameritrade. And as I follow the line all the way across, we find that that was the wife's retirement account, and we've given it to Mary. But they've contested that. The fact is, we're going to take a look. We're going to have my wonderful wife, Susan, put her mouse on that $169,000 Mary claims she should have and give it a double left click. And up comes the basic calculator. No surprise. Here's the thing. Bob says, you know what? She came up with that $169,000 after we were married. Mary says, you know what? I came up with that $169,000 before we were married. It's mine. And it shouldn't even be community property. It should be separate property. Well, the phone just rang 10 minutes ago and we got the news. They're both a little bit right. It turns out we need to clear that now, and my wife's going to clear the SEPs and comms, community properties. And Mary, turns out, only gets $2,000 of that money as separate property. And then after that, we're going to split it between Bob and Mary by going to the 50-50. There you go. Now we're ready to save that. Again, it's asking for information, and this is agreed upon by both parties. And she clicked OK. We would like to let you know that that was put into the case notes for that property, something that we haven't looked at, something that you may want to look at when you open up your copy of Three Dirty Dogs. As we look now, you can see it has been distributed, and there you go. There's $83,000 for her, and with $2,000 separate, and another $83,500. But here's what's more important. If you look down the side now, the right side, we've got more gray boxes where we can make adjustments. Let's see, this one right over here, that was the husband's retirement account. And she's still thinking about maybe using that. You see, if we look up above, Mary's community property is bigger than his, and somewhere she has to give up some money. Well, she's certainly not going to do it on that house in Portland. She wants to keep that. And if we go down further down the screen, we'll find another one is a fully stocked, refurbished, refurbished 1957 Corvette hearse. There you go. And I'm going to go look at that and see if that has the gray box. And, oh my God, it doesn't. It's 2 down. Let's come back again. Let's see. That one is a small villa in Spain. Oh, yes. Mary's talked about selling that. She's getting, they're both getting $143,000. She doesn't want to necessarily give up money from that because that's immediate money. Well, let's see if there's any more down there. We're going to look down the screen even further. And, oh, there's one more there. Let's follow it across. That's a deluxe Mercedes Traveler. I recall Mary's got that. She wants to, there it is. Heck, she plans to get in that and drive somewhere. She doesn't want to sell it. Mary thinks it's over, and we're going to scroll back up again. And she thinks maybe his retirement fund is the place that she's going to have to give up money. Let's go find that again. See, that was the Edward Ramos account, and we're going to follow that across. And there it is right there, and she's going to double click it. It comes up with the calculator, and most of you may have started to notice this button that says right in the towards the center, Goal Seek Equalize Community Totals. She's going to go ahead and give it a click. It says if we are finished, you'll need to save. Click OK. Here's the new values. They meet the approval of both of them. The only thing left to do is to save. And again, it's asking for a comment. And I guess again, it's agreed to by both parties. And go OK. You didn't have to keep that note. You could have just canceled. It would have still saved the results. Let's take a look now. Wow, that's a lot of math we don't have to do. Mary's comp total is $1,259,916. Bob's community total is $1,259,916. $59,916. They're the same. In fact, we don't show the cents up there, but they're the same too. This divorce is financially over. Well, maybe not quite yet. What we want to do now is we want to do a report. Let's go ahead and go to the admin. Oh, let's try it here. I believe we can go right here to help and hints, one we've used before. And I believe there is a report menu here. Let's see if I can find, oh, there it is right there. And click on reports. Okay. There's a lot of reports, and we're not going to look at all of them. There's about 8. Today, we're only going to look at one, probably the most popular. We call it the hot button, the net worth report. It's on a scratch sheet. Give it a click. Well, normally, we could run the report right now, but it discovered something. That one of the categories, one of the asset types called Real Estate 3 hasn't been put into the report yet. We need to put it at where the attorney wants it, you. So we're going to go ahead and select Report Real Estate 3. We're going to come over here and select retirement IRA savings, because it's going to stick it above that, and now insert above selected. Before we actually run the report, let's save this so we don't have to answer that question again. There you go. And now create the report. It's happening now, and it's done. You are done. Okay. Well, we're done too. That's it. There's your report. Well, maybe we're not quite done, but here's the point that we're trying to make. 2 videos ago, we imported. If you had had 50 items in an email from your client, it would have taken you roughly 2 minutes to get it in. Then you'd probably spend another 6 minutes to select the asset types. Probably another 4 minutes beyond that to kind of fine-tune and adjust the way the property is going to be distributed. And then you do this report. We are working on that Super Bowl NFL game to reduce it from 4 hours down to 15 minutes. If you look at the report, it shows you by groups. Here's his before the union, and it's got 3 things there. Here's hers before the union, and it's got several things. Real estate 1. There's the lot in the Portland home, and she wants them both. There's a small villa in Spain, the ocean cliff. There's all of it right there. If you look across the top, you can actually see the values, but these are the same values you saw over there with our data. If you look up above, it says Party 1, Mary community, Party 2, Bob community, and the same thing for the separate properties for the 2 of them. We found some attorneys don't like that in a report. They just want to see the community. My wife's going to put her mouse on one of those 4 titles up there and give it a double click. You're now just looking at the community properties. But some like to see the community and separate properties added together. She gives it another Double click. There you go. And you may have seen it or not, but all the totals changed appropriately. One more time, give it another double click. It's a circle. It just keeps on going. And now you see them separate again. But you actually didn't need to. Let's go back to community. We want to show you something you'll find interesting, I'm sure. Double click one of the communities. We're back to communities. As you see it and you look across there on the reports, you have access to your data through the report. We would like you to notice that there are several things here. One of them is the deluxe spinner, $3,000. We see that we've attributed all of it to Bob. As we come down, let's double click that anyway, the 2880 for Bob. Does this look familiar to you? It's your calculator. If you wanted to, you could turn it over to her. Fact is, you know, she kind of thought she'd like to have it. So we're going to go ahead and clear out what's there and go double click on Mary's community. There you go. And go ahead and save. Asking you for notes. We don't need any. We said you didn't have to. Go ahead and cancel. Or click OK. Notice the titles are right up above? By transferring it over to her, you no longer have it exactly match in terms of the values anymore. As a matter of fact, she now has more money in community than he does. We don't want to, but we could go back to the original sheet and fix that right now. But why do that? You can do all the fixing right from this sheet right here. Let's see, I think it was the Edward Ramos thing that we used the last time. We know it's got some money there. Let's find it. There's retirement savings under husband's retirement, and she double-clicked that right there, and the calculator for it, and there it is right there, and there's the button for the goal seek. Go OK, and go save. Notes, nah, click OK. Titles are back to black. So you can edit your data from your report. We have one last thing to show you. And then we're done with this. After that, we're going to send you off to the book that we've written, the Three Dirty Dog Workbook. We would like you to know that we are going to have to sell that small villa in Spain. I'm going to have her go to the calculator for that small villa and double click it. The one thing we never showed you the last time was something called a slider. You see the slider menu. Don't click it yet. There is no slider, as you see. What is a slider is to slide in additional cost having to do with disposing or selling of a property. Let's give it a shot. Go ahead and click on the slider menu in the bottom right-hand corner. We have 3 sliders that come with our spreadsheet. You can make your own. That can be found in the book. It's not going to be the live auction sale. They want more money. It's not going to be the vehicle sale. It's going to be the mortgage. And give it a click. These are all the elements in it. You could add, subtract, do different elements, but we're going to stay with these because we don't know as much as you attorneys do. And this came from an attorney. And we're going to accept this slider. Then we're going to go ahead and it says, would you like to update the network worth report? Yes. We're back at the screen. You remember this. This is the network worth report screen, and she's going to create report. She gives it a click. And she goes, you are done. Okay. Go ahead and close out of the screen. There you go. And you'll notice now we have monthly mortgage, we have anticipated cost of the sale, and all the other things that have to do with selling property, the villa in Spain. We're only going to put in one as an example today, and that's it, anticipated cost. You could actually go to our book and find out how to create a formula here that would produce, say, a 9% of the total, or we could just simply type it in. So she's going to go to across from anticipated cost of sale and go to the second gray cell to the right. The first one has to do with money coming back to you. This one has to do with money that's going out. And she's going to type in a commission of $9,763.53. Now, I ask you, how did she remember that? I don't know, but she did a great job, didn't she? And she hits enter. There you go. It shows up in the totals with the parents, meaning this is coming out. Let's see how we're going to take it out, though. Go ahead where it says double click to be determined. This is the menu here. And it says basically, how do we divide up what it's going to cost? We could have it do it at 50-50. We could have it party one and assign the entire cost, or party two. Or maybe proportional to the community values. Or maybe proportional to the sum of the community and separate. Let's do that when it's selected. It's a default. And click Accept Choice. There you go. The totals are at the bottom. It reflects everything that you see on the screen. This is the Net Worth Report. And we are through with this video, and we thank you for checking out 3 Dirty Dogs.